Hi, it's Walter from the Blu-Grit Garage. I'd appreciate your help if you can subscribe so we can get our 500 subscribers to enter the No Name Nationals this September. And this video, I'm kind of doing some maintenance on the vehicles, and I've got a 2009 Ford Escape, a 2015 Ford Escape, and this is probably pretty much with any vehicle. I don't know if it's upper management or whatever, but they make the vehicles harder to work on, so you have to take it into the mechanic, or you just get aggravated, you take it into the mechanic and back to the dealership. And the thing is, the mechanics have to deal with the same thing, so it makes them take longer to fix the cars. Instead of having something nice and simple, you know, they're costing you lots more money, because number one, you could have done it yourself and you have to take it in. Number two, the person working on it's going to be just as aggravated and take twice as long because of the little engineering things that they did that are supposed to be improvements. First, I'm just kind of doing an oil change, and I have a 2009 Ford Escape right here, and you know, you get underneath and you can just get up underneath, you know, get around this piece here, but you can see the oil filter. I usually put the dates on the oil filter in the end. I know I'm due for an oil change. I don't have that many miles, but time wise, but you know, it's right there. And you want to put the oil in, you put it in right here, easy peasy. You have to change the battery, it's right there, easy peasy. Okay, we have a 2015, so this is 6 years. It's supposed to be getting better in 6 years. Okay, first it's a little aggravating. You can see laying over there, they put this cladding underneath the shield. I guess it's for aerodynamics, to get that extra 0.001 of a mile per gallon. One of the unintended consequences is some of the stuff under here starts corroding faster because you don't get the moisture out. Also, the subframes start rotting out on these things because they don't breathe. I have mine sprayed. There's a stuff called fluid film. You can get it at Lowe's or Home Depot. It's kind of like a waxy undercoating, and I spray it on there, and that should help. So that's a kind of a Blu-Grit Garage tip for you. And there again, there's the filter, same place. I put the date on it. Let's see if I got a can. I think I had a can of that fluid film here somewhere, or did I? No, making a liar out of me. I'll find it. But you know, that's aggravation number two. All this stuff right here, and it's kind of hard to reach the you know, to fill with the oil. You have a couple of these little oil things here, but they're flexible. The tubes are so small, it takes forever to fill it. I end up getting a piece of heater hose. I don't know if it was a 3/4 inch piece of heater hose, and stick it on a bigger funnel, and it fills a little bit better. So that's another tip. The other thing is, okay, what if you have to change the battery? You know, where the hell's the battery? Well, the battery is like up under here. So to change the battery, you got to take your wiper arms off, you got to take your master cylinder reservoir loose, you got to take all this off, and then you got to take your air box out, and then you have to, which is, you know, all this fun stuff here, and then there's this wire bundle right here. After you take this cover, there's a wire bundle right there. You got to take that wire bundle off, and then after all this is out, you got to reach way back there and pull the battery out. And the battery has some kind of goofy ass big, I don't know, computerized connection on one side, and it usually corrodes. I had to use a lot of Coca-Cola, I guess you could use baking soda, clean all the corrosion off and everything. So then you can slide the battery in, then you got to put your wipers and your air box and all your wiring harnesses and all that stuff back in. And you saw how easy the other one was. You just take your connectors off and lift the battery out, put it in. So it's kind of idiotic if you ask me. The other thing, when you change transmission fluid, I had to change the transmission fluid in this thing, and actually I was kind of bad. I thought the manual said 60,000 miles. Now here, these things, you really should change them every 30. And I didn't know it has this type LV fluid, which is kind of a crappy automatic transmission fluid, and it goes bad. It expands and contracts more and all this kind of stuff. But you know, you can get underneath, there's a plug on the bottom you can get to, drain it, and just, there's your nice little dipstick, fill it in through there, put your 4.5 quarts. I think the type LV fluid, yeah, you put some in, but you have to drive it to get it warm to see where the level goes up, and then, you know, so that way you're not overfilling it. So that's, you know, it's a little tweak right there, having to make sure you're not overfilling it. I did change it. I think it's 65,000 or something like that. I was running a little late, but it started shifting funny. It started like from first to second it would slip and then hammer, and then the little wrench light came on the dashboard, and I took it in and they said I had to replace my transmission, that it was junk. It was the solenoids, and this transmission has no screen, or it has no filter you can remove. You have to take the transmission out and separate the halves to get to that, and everything you have to do, solenoids, everything. You have to pull the transmission. You're talking, I don't know, $5,000, $4,800. It's kind of ridiculous. So rather than do that, I took it home and I went and I got Valvoline Max Life MTL, which is not the Type L or anything, and I drained the 4 quarts, filled it up with the MTL, drove it around, pretty good loop, a little bit of highway, just drove it around, got it good and warm, came home, drained that, and filled it up again with another 4 quarts of that Valvoline MTL Max Life, and it's just fine, no problem. It's been like this for maybe 6 months, and I think if I would have had a problem, it would come back by now. And I am going to wait maybe 10,000 miles and change it again, just that 4 quarts. You know, I wasn't draining any torque converter, which I don't even know if you can reach a torque converter to drain it on this thing. So, but just a tip: if they want you to put in a transmission, try that Valvoline Max Life MTL. Like I said, put it in there, drive it around, get it on the highway. It did act up a little bit for a while, and then after I changed it the second time, it was fine. It's been fine for, like I said, 10,000 miles. So if it's, you know, Blu-Grit Garage, if it saves you $5,000, you know, you're welcome. So now this transmission is kind of screwy. There is no dipstick. Let me see if I can get under here. Trying to think of, okay, there's your drain plug. So you drain it out, and I think this is the yeah, you drain it out here, and then you put your however many quarts in, and you loosen this until the oil pours out of there, but you're supposed to get it warmed up again. I did it the thing with the Valvoline MTL because I didn't want to go through what happened with the other transmission, so I did that with this. But yeah, this is your dipstick basically. This is your fill level. You go up to there, and you got to make sure the car's level. So I had it on a level part of the street, and I just used my Helen Keller, felt around till I felt that, and undid it. You know, you heat it up till, you know, you drive it, heat it up, and then open that up and let it drain. And once it stops draining, that's your proper level. Like I said, again, make sure the car's level. And I did the same thing here. I did it, you know, changed it, 4 quarts, drove it around, changed the 4 quarts again, you know, right away, not waiting a day or anything like that. And it's been fine. But you have to show one more. You know, this can't be. This is the aggravating vehicle to work on. One more bit of the engineers giving you a little dig to make things aggravating. Where do you put the transmission fluid in? There's no dipstick or anything. Okay, you got a hose or something right here, and you got all this crap right here, and butted up underneath right here, there's a little cap you can pull up. Of course, there's hardly any room to pull it up because it's up underneath something. And by the time you pull it up, you got to have a good grip on it, because when you drop it, it's kind of one of those things that's hard to find. And then you got to find a funnel or something small that you can get around there to make like the compound curves. Can't really pull. I think I did something this way maybe the last time. I put a little thin piece of hose right here, but you don't want to pull on all this stuff too hard. But yeah, that's where you got to fill it. It's kind of ridiculous. And there's one other thing you got to worry about. These, I guess it's a 2 liter or 2.5 liter. These are the normally aspirated ones, which is supposed to be a good engine. This one you can kind of see. You look down on your top of your transmission. It's kind of dark here, but you know, usually aluminum casting transmissions, you'll see webbing. Make sure it's not wet there. And what happens is this piece right here, you'll see some screws, which I don't even know what they're for. It's like a block, and it bolts to the side of the block right there and has an O-ring, and it's where all your hoses connect to, and that O-ring blows, and then you blow your engine. So we caught it on this one. It started leaking, and it's kind of a rectangular shape O-ring that fits. The plastic has like a groove that this ring fits in, and then the ring has a little tab that sticks out, and there's like a tab so that you can only put the gasket in one way. But the problem is the tab wiggles and it fractures right there, and that's where it leaks. So hit it up with brake clean when you change it, you know, the new one, and put some silicone on it before you put the gasket down, and maybe a little dab of silicone on top, and it strengthens that little tab so that it doesn't vibrate or do whatever. I guess it's from heat and contraction. It lasts longer, because I put one in and it lasts. I even changed the block when it leaked the second time. I changed the block, but no, the first time I changed the block, but it leaked again after a year or so, and it's been a few years now. But yeah, do that little silicone right there. Don't just rely on that locating piece and yeah, it'll seal, because that's right where the seal broke on the old one, which the old one lasted 60,000 or whatever miles, but the new one broke the same place. So, and buy yourself a Fel-Pro. Don't buy yourself a Advanced or O'Reilly's or AutoZone or, you know, your discount. I mean, they have it, but don't buy the store brand. I mean, spend a few extra bucks and get Fel-Pro. Yeah, just need to be a little more prepared. This time I mentioned earlier in the video about a product called fluid film, and that's what it looks like. I know, it's like 18 bucks a can or something like that. I used them on an old rusty engine block. You know, you kind of stick them on the cylinders, and on the outside of the block it actually kind of eats away at the rust. A few other things. Oh, he left. Yeah, because cicadas all over the place. When you're changing your oil and stuff and you have these critters all over the place, don't leave your cap off, because I saw one crawling across the valve cover when I was changing the oil on the Escape. I should have filmed it, but it you know, it took off too before I could get the camera out. Got my homemade ramps, so little wheel stop up here. I use these for my trailer too, to lift up the trailer ramps a little bit, because the car's so low the exhaust kind of drags. Whenever you use these for oil changes, make sure on the back wheels you use your wheel chocks. I didn't show that last time. I didn't really go towards the back of the vehicle. And there's one other thing that is peculiar about both these Escapes. I think I'll be able to show it easier on this one than the other one. My daughter was an hour and a half away from home, and the car just had no power, and she started smelling something burning, and somebody, you know, she pulled over to, I don't know, I think it was a bar and grill basically, and they're like, oh, I think you blew the engine, you know, and if they wanted to steal the car from her or something, and, you know, have them sell it to her because they knew what it was, or maybe they didn't know. What ended up happening was, and the thing that I thought about, I went and I asked her, was it ticking, was it doing anything, what's the oil pressure gauge? Everything looked like it was okay, it just had no power. And it smelled like it was burning. And on these, the brake lines, okay, you got your metal brake line here, you got your rubber brake line, and it comes to about here, and it's on this bracket. This rubber brake line's like, I thought it was one piece rubber, but it must be separated in the center somehow. And what happens is there must be a little bit of corrosion inside it, and every time you have brakes, you push on the pedal and the pressure goes this way, but it doesn't want to release as well, and basically the caliper dragged, cooked the boot. I don't think the rotor was warped, but I changed the rotor anyway, because I don't, you know, I did the whole brake job anyway. It had enough miles on it. I did both front rotors, both hoses, both calipers, because this caliper, like I said, the boot was all cooked anyway. And the one thing we got lucky is the rim didn't get discolored. A lot of times it'll start turning dark gray or something, you know, because it overheated. So yeah, you kind of might want to have that in the back of your mind. these do have a brake hose problem. I looked online, and you know, I'm not the first one this happened to. So I hope that helps you out. And to all that subscribe, thank you very much. I'll try to keep, you know, putting out content, and we're going to try to do a rush. I have a backlog. My daughter works out of town now, so we only have 1 or 2 nights a week to actually edit. But you know, thank you for all that already subscribed, and on the others, please help us by subscribing. We're a little lacking, but I think we'll make a strong finish. We'll be able to make the 500 subscribers. If not, we'll be out there with the car in the line in front of the entry to the drag strip, you know, with a sign begging for subscribers, and see if we can get anybody in line to help us out. So thank you very much, and have a good weekend, and watch out for cicadas, and happy Mother's Day to everybody. Oh, to the mothers. Thank you.